Hey y'all, this is Moni.
And this is Kat.
Hey Kat. And this is the Fake Ass Book Club. Wait, can we both say it or no?
So welcome back, you guys. It's your girl, Moni.
And this is Kat.
And this is the Fake Ass Book Club, you guys. Welcome back. Glad you made it. Don't know if you continue to notice how fabulous our new set is, friend. I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
It
feels like a real book club.
It does. And but hopefully this is an upgrade for your eyes. If you guys are on YouTube, definitely enjoy. And if you're not, consider popping over to our YouTube. But this week, friend, we have an actual book. I'm very excited to get into it. Now, this was sort of a just looking casually through
some random type shit.
It really was extremely random. And I'm excited because I kind of like went off of, I like the cover art and I just like the title of it. So we're going to be reviewing You're Embarrassing Yourself by Desiree Akhavan. So you guys get into it. I want to give you a brief synopsis of this week's episode. So here we go. Filmmaker, writer, and actress Desiree Akhavan bears all in You're Embarrassing Yourself. Stories of love, lust, and movies. In 17 essays, she blends humor and honesty as she revisits mortifying moments, messy love stories, and the complicated journey of finding her voice as a queer Iranian-American artist. So that is this week's content, you guys. So I hope that you are ready to dive into this book this week. And before we do, we are going to be spoiling this book. So if you've not read it, or if you feel like, I mean, it's essay. So I mean, yeah, when
it comes to memoirs,
we can't really spoil it. Her life is really pretty much out there. But just know we're getting into it. So if you want it to be a surprise, maybe read the book first prior to listening to this. But before we get into this book all the way, friend, I think we should dedicate this episode.
Agreed.
All right. So hands over your hearts, everyone. So this week and every week, you guys, we want to start off this episode with dedicating it to our patrons. Thank you so much for your continued support. I cannot tell you how grateful we feel every week that we see that you continue to send a couple of dollars in to help support our podcast. It is amazing. If you guys are not patrons, you can become part of our Patreon family by popping over to Patreon at www.patreon.com/The Fab Podcast, where you guys at $5, you can get 2 bonus episodes every month. Also, you get a episode with no ads because, of course, our episodes have those ads on there. And then even at the $1 mark, if you want to listen to our episodes ad free, you have that opportunity. So definitely pop over there, guys. Support your girls. Also, I wanted to dedicate this episode this week to the ever elusive act of unfiltered and, I don't know, just unadulterated self-love, because it is so necessary. I feel like the last 2 books that we've read have really made me kind of tap into that energy. And it's, I don't know, it's a hard thing to do. Like, I'm saying it like it's simple, but I think it can be hard. But it's the most beautiful piece of art we can create in our lives. So I want to encourage all of us to do that and want to dedicate that to, we should all be trying for that. What about you, friend?
Yes,
thank you.
And I'm, me, I'm a big fan of self-love.
You are.
I think that's why I have trouble getting in relationships, because they're not out loving me. All right, my dedication is going out to high school students, specifically the high school students from 3 Indianapolis high schools who walked out of class last week protesting gun violence in wake of the Minneapolis school shootings. So, shout out to the young people making a difference. And also to my own personal high schooler, my daughter, who made 2 trays of mac and cheese for her advanced African American studies class pitch-in, and it was a hit. So I feel like you should automatically get an A in the class if everybody likes your mac and cheese, because that's passing African American studies.
It really is.
Period. Dedication over.
Oh,
yeah.
Let's
can I
go.
just tell you too? I might say this part out. I don't know. Because she was so nervous about it. Because for human beings who've ever made mac and cheese for Black people,
it is stressful. It can be. I mean, once you've done it for a long time, it's not. But, you know, when you're getting started in it, yeah, because you're like, if the macaroni and cheese is not good, you're never going to live that down. That is going to be a story that we tell on your, after you die and we're standing over your grave.
That mark of dishonor.
Remember that one time? Woo, she had that dry mac and cheese with no flavor.
So how about she put it out and then left the room? Because she was so nervous about it. But when she came back, everybody was going crazy for it. So, yeah.
Good job. Yay, good job, Mom, even.
Well, I didn't have nothing to do with it. So that was all her.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Good job.
Good job, baby girl.
Yes, we love it.
Yeah. So,
oh, excellent. Yeah. Okay, well, let's get into this, friends. We're going to get into this book this week, you guys. So this book was published August the 6th, 2024 by Harper One. It's about 256 pages. And the audiobook was about 5 hours.
Yeah, it was pretty short.
6. It wasn't a long one.
Yeah.
Very, very good. It was read by the author, which I always enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so speaking of our author, though, I don't know if you have a little something about
you
Miss
liar.
Desiree
You
Akhavan.
know I have something.
Well, then say it then. Shit.
Desiree Akhavan is a filmmaker, writer, and occasional actor. She created the Hulu original series, The Bisexual, as well as the films Appropriate Behavior and The Miseducation of Cameron Post, which won the Sundance Grand Jury Prize. As an episodic director, she worked on numerous shows, including Hacks and Raimi. Her writing has appeared in The Guardians and British Vogue. So I actually went ahead and watched Appropriate Behavior this morning while I was folding laundry. Mm-hmm.
And
I liked it.
really?
Oh, yeah. It was very good. It was free on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
And I had not seen our author before watching that movie. And it was a stark contrast as to how she described herself in the book. Because in the book, I thought she'd be downright haggardly.
She really was down on herself. She very much described herself as this giant, disgusting beast with, I don't know, a hook of a nose and just
Terrible skin.
Yeah, just like
just
cystic acne. Like I was picturing a troll.
Yeah, there was a scene where she's with her Iranian relatives and they're just like going back and forth, like they're complimenting each other, but then they have to insult themselves to give the compliment and stuff like that. And it was very funny, but yeah, it was downright funny because I'm like, she's striking. Like it was like silly.
And I almost feel like, I mean, we can get into this too, but I feel like it's partially, don't you think, like, if you don't feel like you look like your mom and you think your mom is beautiful, no matter how you look, you kind of think like you are not exactly beautiful?
Moni, I wouldn't know because
you look just like your mom.
I look I used to, but I can understand because when I was little, I didn't. And so every day I would pray to look like my mother. And it came true.
You did a good job. The Lord is on your side, apparently.
Bull.
Okay, that's what they would say. I just feel like, you know, for moms of daughters who don't look just like their moms, like I think about that with my daughter a lot because, you know, she has critiques about her looks that I'm like, I don't see what you're seeing. And, you know, I don't know if it's because she doesn't feel like she looks exactly like me that she feels like that, you know what I mean? Or if it's just external stuff.
I feel like at your daughter's age, what are we at, 5th grade?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hated how I looked at 5th grade. I don't think there was any.
I wasn't on how I looked in 5th grade. I think it probably took maybe 7th grade is about when
I started hating how you look.
Yeah.
I've always been advanced.
Yeah, you are.
So.
You are.
No.
Got there fast.
Yeah, no, it took me a while to move into like, okay, this is my meat vehicle.
Right.
So I've got to make the best of it.
Sounds gross.
It does sound gross.
My meat vehicle.
That's how I'm getting around. Ew. And so, like I said, you have to have that radical self-love because...
Right, because it's just right there ready for you to plug into at all times, obviously.
And it's doing a lot for me. But yeah, and also I've watched Hacks.
Okay.
And I love Hacks. That's like a show on HBO Max. Mm-hmm. It's the original series on there. Did you ever used to watch Designing Women?
Oh, yeah. Designing Women was a throwback.
Smart I can't remember her name on the show, but she was one of the women on Designing with the Blonde.
Yeah.
So she plays a Jones Rivers type character on there, and she hires like this young bisexual to help her with writing. And I feel, and if I had to guess, it's very Desiree Akhavan. Now that I know a little and know that she wrote for that show, I see I just said that.
Wait, for Designing Women?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Hacks. I was just using Designing Women as a reference for the woman who was on Hacks.
Thank you. You have to. So
one of the leads.
You went too fast for me.
Sorry.
Because
that's on.
I'm with you now.
That's on Kat.
Thank you. No, maybe it's on me. No.
The older Joan Rivers character that's being played by Designing Women.
Got you.
And then I can't remember the actress comedian's name who was
actually
playing
was the bisexual person.
Yeah,
got you.
But her voice was it was giving Desiree.
Very nice.
And I enjoyed it. That's the thing too. So I was like, okay, I'm really into that show. And now I'm probably gonna go and watch Rami. I haven't even heard of that.
Rami?
Yeah.
Oh, I've heard of that. I've not watched it, but it's I forget which streaming service it's on, but I remember when they were, this was like maybe a couple of years ago, it was being promoted pretty hard on TV. So.
And I've never seen the bisexual. I'm probably going to check that out too.
Well, listen, I haven't seen anything. This is my first introduction to Miss Desiree and her works, and I really enjoy getting to know her voice and her perspective. It was certainly a treat. I feel like, obviously this is a memoir, but it's like in the form of essays. And so that's one of my favorites. I really do like that.
I do. I like a series of essays.
Yeah, series of essays is nice, and you kind of get a feel for like their life over time. So this isn't like some glitzy coming of age sort of story. Like it's very much raw.
Yeah.
And it almost feels like a confessional almost. And it's very much,
especially the eating disorder part.
Yeah, I mean, like she really got into it. And then like the whole thing is like you're embarrassing yourself. So like a lot of the stories that she's telling are some of the most embarrassing points of her life. So she really gets into it. So it was quite like I have secondhand embarrassment sometimes for people. So like when I'm hearing her telling it, it's like, oh no, this is crazy. And then you feel bad laughing at it because let's get into the tone of the story. Like for me, it was very much, her deadpan sort of humor, which I'm into. I really do like. It kind of, this kind of reminded me of Jeanette McCurdy's book a little bit. In terms of so like when I was listening just to like the tone of her voice as she's reading the book, and then like it being funny, but like what she's talking about, like this is not funny.
No, yeah.
And like feeling bad laughing about it because it's like I know she's inserting this for the comic relief of it, but this is also a really heavy thing. Yeah. So that contrast was interesting. And
it's the same thing too because there's the parallels with the eating disorders.
Yes, very much. Very much so. So
but Desiree had a nicer mom.
Desiree definitely had a nicer mom. But it's like, she's roasting herself the whole time. You know what I'm saying? And then at the same time, she's telling you something really deep. Yeah. So you're just like, oh my God. Yeah. But also like her roasting herself to the point where you were like, God, I was expecting like the troll under the bridge to come out. And she was just like this regular looking lady who was like tall.
No, not even regular. Like I think she was actually above the standard deviation of attractiveness.
What is beautiful, yeah.
Yeah. Like I think I described her as sort of like an Iranian Eva Mendes. Yeah. Like that's what her face, or actually she reminded me of a tall version of the hot cousin from Never Have I Ever.
Oh.
Kamala.
Okay.
That was her name. Kamala was the name of the character. I can't remember the actress who played her, but basically her face to me, she looks like she could be a model.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I understand how that wouldn't have been considered attractive, like during because she's our age.
She can't.
Yeah, like coming up, she was way too,
too much going on, girl.
Yeah,
No, we don't like all that.
No,
definitely.
And she didn't have big, huge knockers.
No, she also talked about being flat chested and that being a whole situation. And I feel like she's close to our age too, within maybe like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I got all of her references when she was talking about because she was born here, but her parents were immigrants.
Can we talk about that a little bit?
Sure.
Because, all right, so parents are immigrants, and she said that her brother was born in 1980. And so her parents were in Iran before that, and she was talking about the fact that, like, they weren't, in air quotes, arranged marriage, but it was a meetup. Like, it was very much like, your daughter should meet my son. Like, let's make a social event where they can meet each other and talk or whatever. And then after that, 3 months later, they ended up getting married. And so, and it was cute because, you know, the dad was like, I guess he was like, when I met her, I kind of knew I wanted to marry her. I wanted to be with her. And she was more like, I mean, he was cool, but he talked a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was very much into himself or whatever. Cause she was 19. The dad was maybe 26 or 27 when they got married. There was it was an age difference that I was like, oh, okay. But she talks about the fact that, like, they had her brother. He was born in Iran. When they got married, it was like the day after they got married, there was like the hotel across the street got set on fire or something, because it was like right when the Ayatollah, like the whole government shift, like
and stuff like the Islamic Revolution.
The Islamic Revolution kind of was like in full force. So the historical context of that was kind of crazy to me too, because I just felt like, wow, that's kind of a big thing. Because, like, when her parents tell her about where she's from, it was like, oh, this was like sort of a westernized, like, we had freedoms and stuff like that. And then when we think about Iran now, how repressive it is for women's rights and all that stuff.
That's like something to keep in mind. I feel like people think it can't happen here, because to me, I see the parallels, right, between what's happening here and what happened then. And people think like, oh, well, that can't happen here. That just happens in those countries with those types of people. And it's just like, all right, then go ahead and give all the religious people all the power and see what happens. Just go ahead. Because have you seen in Texas, like, because they banned abortion in Texas, and all the women who are dying of sepsis because the doctors are afraid to do D&Cs.
Because they can't. Well,
or not D&Cs, D&Es.
Okay.
Whatever
keeps you from having
I
that.
just want to get bad information out there, because I don't even know what a D&C is.
A D&C is basically like when it's the sort of air quotes abortion where they're using the suction.
No, I said D&E. That's a D&E. I said D&C.
Right. I thought you said you didn't know what a D&C was.
I thought it's D&E. What is a D&E or D&C?
A D&C is.
Oh, it is a
suction.
D&C.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay, see, this is how much I know.
That's okay. That's all right.
We can
put it in the notes.
Okay.
I'll put y'all a YouTube video
Anyway, they're
in here. Scared
to do it.
Right, of course.
Because of all the crazy laws and stuff, but it ends
up... This is how it starts, though.
Yeah.
It made me think of... So what I would have liked... Not like I didn't like... This book was great to me overall, but it would have been interesting to have her dig in on that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, comment on that. I don't know if... Because that's kind of like what I liked about Kyla's book, to go to that, because there were some similarities in Kyla Yu's book, Fetishize. That was a previous episode where, you know, she's talking about her immigrant experience, but then using historical context to talk about, like, the impact of some of that stuff. So I felt like, dang, that was kind of like, she touched on it a little bit, but I would have thought it was cool to talk about that a little more.
Observed?
What's that?
She's
American.
Well, no. Well, yes. And she's spent most of her time in PWIs.
Oh, yeah.
So that's, you know, predominantly white institutions. So it makes sense to me where she might not want to shake the boat in that area. Because I like the... this is something I have just sort of observed just from reality television, like Shahs of Sunset and stuff like that. But she's just talking about how important image is in Iranian societies. That is true. And the whole point is to, everybody can know what's really going on, but you don't say what's going on. Just like when she wasn't out to her parents, like everybody knew what was going on, but she didn't want to say.
Wasn't that sad? Do you remember the story she shared in the book where she was 19 and they were at like a dinner with her parents and some of her parents' friends and stuff like that. And one of the parents' friends was like, oh my God, I would like rather my kids have cancer than be gay.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, I know that's horrible to say, but my kids say that maybe I have the homophobe, but it's just true. I would rather. And then she says her mom like grabs her leg and she was like, I don't know if it's, she was like, I don't know that I can't say for sure that it wasn't like her being like, don't say nothing or I'm sorry.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and just not even wanting to find out.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, I love you, but don't say nothing right now. Because I'll be so diminished and it's the culture. And once again, deeply relatable. Because whenever I feel like I've always enjoyed an immigrant story because I feel like the Black American story is so similar. You know, there's a lot of parallels because we're not fully American as Black people. And there's this idea of like, we're in America, but not of America. And just that, but this idea of the upwards mobility through respectability politics where we think that it's like, well, if we do this is shucking and jiving for everyone watching the video.
You should see our arms go, guys. Wow.
So if you're able to do the little mama, you know,
the WB frog situation.
If you're willing to, you know, play the game, then the promise is, you know, you'll get that
the American
ever
dream.
Elusive white acceptability, but it's like
you don't though. You don't. And yeah, so it was just really interesting to see her diving into sort of feeling like, okay, like I know I'm from Iran, but like feeling disconnected from it, and then like the stories that you're being told, or getting different information like based on who she's talking to. Like, you know,
her dad be like, I don't remember.
I don't know about all that, right? And so, and just trying to piece it together, but then also growing up in a space, she was like, I feel like I'm the quintessential sort of millennial person who's just, you know what I mean, like that stereotypical millennial American person. And so, I don't know, like I think when you're in between those identities of this place that you long to be from and know about, but then don't 100%. But then also you feel connected to it on a level that you can't explain because, again, like you're indoctrinated into the culture of like, you know, speaking that Farsi or
just well, I think what was really nice when she talked about her parents getting divorced and finally kind of throwing away this whole idea of like we have to live a facade to be acceptable. Because she was talking about just about how much her mom like just came alive after that and stuff like that. And it's, well, you had mentioned too, she had a TED Talk called You Should Disappoint Your Parents.
Yes, it was very good. I'm gonna leave that in the notes too.
Okay, because I think I'd like to watch that too, because I feel like
because she asked the question like, when does your life get to be your own and not just your parents? That's a hard place to be in, because even if you're not an immigrant, there's still like there's something universal about whatever that family expectation is, whether it's, you know, performing femininity in a certain way, or Christianity in a certain way, or being a good Muslim, or sports, or
or
like
grades,
or whatever it is. You know that like if you're not performing at this level, you're disappointing your family. And sometimes like you're performing these tasks because you know it's making your family happy and it's not making you happy necessarily. And that is the conundrum of becoming a young adult and forging a life for yourself, is figuring out like, you know, who am I in the world versus who am I to my parents and who I am to my community.
So have you ever felt like you were a disappointment to your parents?
A little bit. I mean, not really though. Not because it's been my own internalized sort of narrative. Like I don't, not really, not from them. Like I've never felt like my father has looked at me and been like, or my mom, not at all. In fact, I mean, I've got a lot of reinforcement that like, yes, you're my degree. Like you are the best thing I've ever done in my life. But I'm also like, really? I mean, I basically am winging it out here. Yeah, so, I mean, but in my own way, yes, because I feel like it's more so we put our own parameters on what we feel like is successful. So these aren't things that necessarily I feel like my parents put in place, but it was like, dang, I feel like maybe I could have been better here. I should have done that more or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. What about you?
Just social purpose, sure. Oh, heck yeah. You know, I got pregnant early, 2 divorces, dropped out of school. Like, yeah, it's a bunch of stuff where it's just like, ooh, sorry guys. especially investing in like private education.
Ooh,
It was, but also like,
I feel like it's serving you well.
Well, my whole thing was too, it's like I didn't ask for that either. Like I was actually very kind of clear about like, I don't think this is a good fit for me. And just being told me like, no,
this is what we're doing though.
Yeah. And it's like this kind of thing where I think I kind of figured out early that I'm just going to have to disappoint my parents sometimes too. And once again, I do feel like I was just really disappointing one parent. So
got you. Yeah.
So if you have one parent who's just kind of like, hey,
it's all good, babe. I love
it's
you
all good. I love you no matter what.
Yeah.
And then there's this idea of like, yes, but you don't have to use like, you don't have to be yourself. You can be better than that. Like,
that's what's so hard.
It
right?
is, because it's like, you're right. I should be striving for something better, but also wanting that acceptance for just where I am right now.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So I always want to make sure my children feel
like that.
Like, you know, I'm proud of you, but also, you know, don't be afraid to get outside of your comfort zone.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I guess, you know, I've never gotten any real indication from my parents that they've been disappointed. I guess I have felt like I know that I probably could have been better. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't, you know what I'm saying? I personally don't think I was always living up to my potential. And I have made mistakes in my life that I feel like ashamed of, or felt like I wish I would have tried harder, or, you know what I'm saying? Like whatever those things are, but that's not necessarily from them. It's just something that I've internalized, that I'm like, dang, you know. But I've never really gotten any feedback from my parents that's ever made me feel like what I was doing wasn't good enough, or I wasn't, showing up like they thought I should, or whatever. You know what I mean? So
definitely didn't feel the pressure that Desiree was feeling.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, it doesn't always have to be something so explicit of like, if you're not marrying the right guy or doing the right job, like it doesn't even matter. Like, we're still all sort of putting ourselves in a position to feel like maybe we're not living up to what we think we should be doing. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely that. But I thought that, like, in terms of how she saw herself as an outsider was interesting, because again, her being, you know, Iranian technically, and then like physically presenting like that, you know, she even talks about being like a big baby when she was first born, and just feeling like she was always this big giant person. And especially being a female, and her mom was like all petite and dainty and stuff like that. And people always commented on how beautiful her mom was. And then in contrast,
be like, you look exactly like your dad.
Your daddy. Oh my God. And that's I feel like I relate to that, because it's like, yeah, like, cause so you're in one breath you're telling me my mom is beautiful, and then you're turning around saying like I look like my dad, but you're not commenting on how he looks. And so I feel like this is shade a little bit.
And the fact that
I feel like, and I'm gonna be honest, I be feeling like that's what my daughter picks up on with people too, because she does look more like, or she always has, she does look like me too, but she looks more like her dad. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if somebody's saying you look like a guy,
right,
you're internalizing that like, okay, so I look like a dude. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So so I do feel like being a girl who is being told you look like your dad and not like your mom, especially if you feel like people are saying, oh, your mom is attractive, your mom is cute, but you look like your dad. Right. It's like, so what is the subtext? And
let's be very clear, your daughter's gorgeous.
I mean, I know my daughter is beautiful.
I just want to let the people know.
She's absolutely
she's
gorgeous.
Stunning. But
the way that I think that I feel like she internalizes how she looks sometimes isn't
like
always
I said, fifth
clear...
grade is rough. I wish I could go back and talk to my fifth grade self.
Me
and
too.
Been like, you don't have to be sexy. First off, like, you're
not a prerequisite, love.
It's so, but once again, we're like fed so many messages through media as women that it's just really, really rough. So a lot of times I really like the advice Amanda Seales gave to her like past self, like if she could go back in time and talk to her younger self. She was like, don't sweat these niggas and shine on these hoes.
Ooh.
And I thought that was really good advice, like even now. Like,
the more you know.
Yeah. It's really, really good advice.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was doing. Like, I was sweating too many niggas and not shining enough. It's like,
and you should never do that. That made me feel sad. So like, you know, okay, so let's first get into the fact that like, okay, so she felt very othered pretty early, you know, in comparison to her brother, but then also her peers and stuff at school. And so when I think about like a lot of these stories that I'm taking in about different artists and their like origin stories, it feels like there's always this period of like feeling like you don't belong or whatever, feeling othered, and then like creating this world for yourself. So like, and it's almost always something around the arts, whether it's reading, drawing, creating movies, stories and stuff like that. And it feels like for her escape was sort of creating these narratives where she could see herself in them. And so that kind of was like the thing that saved her or pulled her out of feeling like, okay, I don't belong anywhere. Do you think that that's like an essential part of creating art in terms of like, or do you think it's a benefit for like, so for people who feel other, you know, like having that outsider lens is so sharp. Like, do you think that that informs art?
I think it's a form of therapy because honestly, I feel like that's a universal experience of not belonging.
Okay.
And as human beings, we have an internal need to feel that sense of identity and belonging. So for the artists who are actually able to make work about it, like it's a valuable experience because everyone's feeling that, as it turns out. We read all these stories and it turns out,
well, we want to be precious
even
too.
the super hot people. But yes, just I think artists, like the creatives, they're the ones who are telling back just the entire human experience. So just
they're brave enough to, because I think it's hard to, or well, I'm saying brave in the sense of like, there's a certain level of vulnerability that goes into being like, I feel ugly.
Sure.
Or I
like
feel
this was
this.
this
I
was
feel
an
that.
extremely vulnerable book.
Twice.
Like, yeah, she really goes there. She really opens up, especially about being bisexual, because it seems like it's one of those things where straight people and gay people, they don't like it.
No, they really don't.
They don't like it. They're like, pick a side and stay
stick
there.
to it, right.
They don't trust them. It's like, what are you really? You could never be faithful, you bisexual.
Yeah, it's true. And you know, I mean, not. I'm saying it's true that people feel like that. I'm not saying that it's true that they can't be trusted.
Exactly.
Be clear.
But everyone, I think it's very.
I think it's tricky.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult to be honest about that. Like, which is something I appreciate about the author, where she's like, no, like this is legitimately how I feel about this, and I know nobody likes it,
but this is it.
This is it.
So, one of the stories I liked was, and it made me think about you because she was talking about, like Storm, basically. So she had this relationship with this woman, and they had a breakup, and she ends up getting a bad haircut and a bad dye job, which is, you know, something people do.
It's a rite of passage.
It's either that it happens around breakups, but sometimes it also happens when you have a baby. Sometimes.
Yeah, any big
or right
changes
before, after,
where you're like, you know what, I need bangs.
You're trying to do something external that's going to make the internal feel better somehow. And then like, I'm just going to let you ladies know right now, a haircut in the middle of a emotional, traumatic breakup, a life-changing event, not a good idea.
It worked for, what's her name in Waiting to Exhale?
No. I disagree.
But they were fictional.
They were fictional. I'm saying I've never heard in real life that ever be a thing that helped or made anybody feel better. So don't do that. But it made me laugh because I'm going to say that particular essay really made me feel, I was like, I feel uncomfortable with this, because it was like one of the points. So like, I think her thing was, you know, she very much was a sexual person, which is fine. But the desperation, it was like, oh my God, it was so cringe. And I was like, man, like being honest about how thirsty you are has to be so hard in a book, because
forever.
I get it. You're looking for it, but.
Well, the first relationship she had in college with the one girl.
The cokehead.
Yeah, like that was a bummer. Where she was just like, you're just putting yourself through all kinds of humiliation.
Just to feel something though.
But even in Appropriate Behavior, she talks about, I'm just trying to forget what it feels like to be loved. And just that idea of when you're going from that space of like, I'm in this the love zone, and then you're out. It's like, ugh.
Yeah. Like, it's much easier. Like, people say, like, when you're getting over somebody, you got to get under somebody. And she was like, yeah, I got to get under, like, 10 people to not feel that feeling or whatever.
And it doesn't work.
Like, I mean, I wouldn't recommend that per se, but I get the feeling of, like, the distraction of it all. You know what I'm saying? Like, needing something that's going to be a distraction. But I don't know, like that whole little section of her, like, changing her hair and kept changing her hair, and then, like, reaching out to this ex, trying to be like what happened, and then it not being, it was just like, oh God, stop. Please don't do this. I was, like, secondhand embarrassed for her. Like, this is, it felt unrelatable in a sense. Like, I don't know that I've ever been in a space where I've been trying super hard to get I'm like, if I get the sense that you're not there, then I'm not there.
Yeah,
because I'm not getting ready to play myself.
Well, because there's a seductive aspect to it. Like, if you have low self-esteem, like, you understand, like, you feel like love has to be earned. And so there's that yearning. But then once you get out of that space, you start getting turned off by people who aren't into you. Yeah. And that's the better space to be in.
That's the thing. That's what it was, like, so deeply sad, because it's like, for you to be in a place where you're, like, going that hard and stuff like that, which made me think about a conversation I had. Actually, me and my husband were talking about, that space you find yourself in when you first meet somebody. So, like, in this book, she talks a lot about, like, meeting somebody and instantly feeling this attraction and feeling like, oh, I'm in love, or I'm, that was, like, the verbiage she used around it, and just being like, you meet somebody and you're like, instantly, I want to let everybody else know I'm talking to this person, whatever, and, like, how intoxicating that is. And, in my mind, I'm thinking, like, yeah, but love? Like, you're describing that as love? Like, that was just weird to me that you're calling that, like, I'm in love, as opposed to, like, I'm feeling like this strong attraction to somebody in this moment. You know what I mean? So, and just how people get that misconstrued, and how, like, you'll be talking to people who will be describing to you what they're saying that they're, like, in love, but then also you're just like, I don't think that's actual love, because actual love.
But it's really hard telling a 19-year-old that.
Oh God, a 19-year-old, absolutely not.
Because I feel like she's we got a lot of her young life.
Yeah, for sure.
And even later on, when she's even talking about her relationship with her friend that she was making the films with, who ended up getting pregnant.
Oh, I love that. That was such a good story.
And just about how at least she was able to recognize, she was like, I was too in my feelings about it, and not recognizing what my friend was going through, having this whole baby. I know, right? The Italian friend,
Chacillia. Yes, that was really sweet. So, like, in contrast to the relationships that I'm speaking about, that I feel like are, like, more so transactional, and you're meeting somebody a little shallow and stuff like that. And it's like, I just think, I say all that to say, I feel like people will misconstrue attraction or chemistry for love. You know what I'm saying? Like those are two totally different things. Chemistry wears off after a while. Like, love is a choice, But I'm glad you mentioned that, because she talked about her friendship with Chacillia, as like what was the book we read about platonic friendships, and it being like the love of your life. Yeah. Other significant others. I think this was an example of seeing that play out, which was really beautiful. And I thought, wow, that's very nice, because she has this soulmate level friendship with somebody who she creates her art with, and felt like, they had this bond. And then it's like her friend got to the point where she ended up getting pregnant. And of course, everything takes a back seat to the human you're building, your uterus, and have to protect and take care of, and how that can be an adjustment for your friends who feel entitled to your time, who feel like they've built a life with you. And I don't know if you've ever experienced that with your friends. Have you ever had a friendship where, like, you feel like your motherhood duties or your expectations as a mom interfered with or sort of subverted friendship expectations?
No.
I mean, that's loud. No, I don't know. I'm asking.
No,
Because I don't feel like that. Like, I don't think that
Okay.
I've had any, but I think I have my kids old enough to where.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, because I, on the other hand, so I have felt both. So, like, by the time I had my kids, I was in my 30s. So it wasn't, it's a different life shift. But I do think, like, but also a 30-year-old in New York who's a creative might be like a 20-year-old in the Midwest, low key. So, but I think that, like, for me, when I had kids, I was ready to have kids. Most of my friends already had kids. So I was like one of the later people to do so. But when some of my friends were having kids like yourself, and I didn't have kids and I didn't have the context of what it meant to have children, there were times where maybe I had ideas about how things should go in terms of, like, wow,
Oh yeah, like when we went to Cancun.
Yeah, even
like,
that.
Yeah, like when we went to Cancun with the baby,
Yeah.
and I was just like talking about, like, man, I just feel bad leaving him for so long,
like,
and you were just
why?
like, ew.
That's stupid. He's here with. I'm like, your granny. Who loves him more than your
And
grandma?
his damn daddy.
And
you
that.
always leave that.
That too. But I'm like, I just picture your grandma because I like her more.
His other parents, he totally had. Was he was loved and cared for, but like I said, he was 3 or 4
He
at
was
the
4.
time, and I hadn't been away from him that long ever, and a week just felt like a really long time to be away
fathom
from him.
it. That's all I'm saying. Like, I couldn't. It was hard for me, and I do think, and so for me, like, hearing her come from a standpoint of, like,
It's like,
I don't get why you can't just be all the things I always needed you to be.
It's like, what is the problem?
And
It's like, what do you mean the sitter's not coming?
Yeah.
Like,
but that's different because that kind of stuff I would understand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
I'm just talking about our author.
In general,
she was like, what do
she
you
couldn't
mean?
get it.
Like,
She couldn't
we were
get
supposed to get together. I think either the sitter got sick or the baby got sick, something like that.
The baby had a fever, and then the sitter pranked out on her, so she was like, "I can't."
Yeah,
and then
I can't. Instead of just
her
being like,
being
well,
like,
I'll just come to you.
through. Yeah,
she was just like, fuck it.
Yeah. But also, because that's the difference. Like, I feel like I always felt like it's my duty as a friend who doesn't have kids to show up at my friend's door. Like, that was a big part of our friendship.
Yeah,
when,
so
when
to
it
me,
came
that's
to
why I
grannies
felt
and
like
stuff.
I never felt like it was. Not for real.
Yeah, like, I always felt like, I got to that pretty quickly of, like, well, it's easier for me to be more flexible when it comes to where I show up and when I show up than it is for my friends who have kids, because it's not that easy. Even though I couldn't fathom why it took you so long to get ready with your kids. But now, of course, now I have kids and I was ignorant fool, et cetera, et cetera. But also, I still acquiesced because I'm like, it just makes more sense. Like, I don't have to do anything but just show up at your house. So I'll just do that, because if I don't, then I won't see you.
Yeah.
I never wanted to give up seeing my friends because I was too lazy or felt like, well, this bitch don't never come to see me. But also, that's a sort of selfishness that I do think exists when you don't have a person whose person is in charge.
You don't have that. If you,
It's just
if
hard
you
to
just
tap
didn't
into.
know, you don't know.
You don't know, yeah.
And the fact that she was able to look back and be like, "Ooh, I didn't handle that great."
Yeah,
you know,
and
that
it was
was
sweet.
to me refreshing, because it's like, just been like, okay, I was tripping, and the fact that they made it through it.
They definitely made it through
that
it.
made me happy, because I was like, no, she's so great, you guys. No,
Well, and it made me feel hopeful too that, like, their friendship was based on creating something together. Like, I could definitely, like, I think, like, for me, even, like, doing this podcast is fun because I get to do it with you. Like, it would just be different. I just don't think I could just be sitting out here doing this by myself.
I feel weird. I
It
definitely
would.
would.
I don't have enough to just. The whole point is, like, I like talking to you.
Yeah,
About
like
stuff.
I said, we're yappers,
And so
as
it's
my son would
nice, and
say.
it's like you guys just get to be a fly on the wall and experience it.
Because
But
when we turn this off, we just keep yapping.
we're gonna keep talking, and then the next time we talk, we're gonna be talking again. So
I know. In fact, sometimes
Yeah.
we have to, I have to calm
gotta go.
down before we start recording, because I'm gonna get everything out before you get on
Right,
tape. Because I'm
we're
like,
save it for the chauffeur. Let's keep it. Let's let
Yeah.
our friends. Let's let our friends in on it.
yeah.
So are we looking? At
We're
time?
at an hour, so I was gonna suggest a break.
Okay, you guys, we're gonna take a break and we'll be right back. Alright, guys, so welcome back from the break. I was thinking, friend. So this book really does touch on a lot of, embarrassing moments. So we kind of touched on that before. But I think she sort of balances that in a way that empowers her story.
Because she does seem awfully cool.
And it's funny because she doesn't see herself like that. Like, I think she wants to project this thing, but she doesn't feel like she embodies it.
She's like from New York. You went to this super prestigious private school. You're super smart. You make movies. Like, you date super hot people.
And still felt like somehow she was missing the mark. And it's super crazy. But do you think that, like, sharing embarrassing stories makes you more relatable somehow?
Oh, for sure.
Okay. So do you have any embarrassing stories you want to share with the people that want that can give everybody to make you more...
I'm gonna share like my cousin's favorite story to share about me, like, embarrassing myself. Okay, so when I was in Nashville one time, like, we were outside riding bikes, and my grandma lived on this big ass hill. And so, you know me, how I feel about bike riding, right?
You're not good at it.
I'm not. And actually, my whole spatial reasoning, I just have sensory issues. It's a whole thing. And so I've never been cool anyway, but, like, we're outside, we're riding bikes, and at some point, I'm not going to blame this on my cousins, but at some point, I ended up running into the cesspool on my bike. And
That's the doo-doo water.
Okay, you're getting ahead of the story. Because I was like, they start laughing. They're like, you fell in the cesspool. And I'm like, what is a cesspool? I'm from the city. We have sewers. Like, I don't know what a cesspool is. So, and I ended up yelling, it's like, I got these pants at Target. And because I'm ruining my pants.
That sounds like something your daughter would say.
Well, it's something I said. And so they're laughing like the crows from Dumbo. I would have been too. Yeah. Those racist ass crows from Dumbo, they were based on real Negroes. I know that much.
Yeah, they
because
were.
There's
slapping
nothing like
cackling Negroes in the background.
Oh,
boy.
Don't let them be funny. Like, it was brutal. My one cousin, she still talks about it to this day. If my other cousin was still with us, I'm sure they would both still be doubled over in laughter, remembering that moment from my childhood. What about you, Moni?
Good one. No, nothing embarrassing ever. So cool all the time. No, I mean, I was trying to think of this. I'm like, what is embarrassing? The one story that I kind of thought about, which is like, I wasn't in college. My best friend, Tammy, at the time was at IU. It was her freshman year. So I used to pop up there and party with her and stuff. And we were just like at a college party, sitting around drinking and stuff. And I just remember sitting there and I got so drunk that I realized like I had to throw up and I couldn't get up and move. So I just we're just sitting there and I just like vomit right there in front of everybody.
Like on yourself or into something?
In front, like I was just sitting Indian style. So like it was just like in the pretzel of my leg, right in the middle there. And I was like, well, I wish I could have got up and went somewhere. Yeah, we had.
Like, what's up with that?
What's up with that? What's up with that? Yeah, I was like, God, that was from forever ago. But I don't still feel like some secret shame about that or anything now. It's like I was in, I wasn't in college.
Child. Like, I don't think anybody gets to leave this
But it was embarrassing because I would have 100% tried to be somewhere and to carry that in front of other people. But
now, and the beauty of it is like both of these things that happened to us, that was in the 1900s.
No video footage.
Could you imagine if there was still a failure video?
And then there's like a GIF where you're just like,
yeah,
exactly, over and over again forever. Yeah, yes. I got my jeans from Target. Yeah, embarrassing.
I'm so glad that just lives in the mind of my cousin.
Yes, that's it.
And that's it.
Yeah, you could just not talk to her and never have to hear about it.
Or I could go, and I'm realizing now, like my mom's route, where I'm always like, Mom, you don't remember? Da-da-da. She's like, nope. And now people will be like, you remember? Like, nope.
Don't know what you're talking about, actually. Next call.
And I'm fine with it.
Exactly. So yeah, that was something that struck me in this book. And then it made me also think about how going back to Kyla's book, it was definitely a similar thing when it came to that embarrassment thing, except for I feel like more so Desiree. I mean, Desiree's definitely, she had that sarcastic, you know, like it was like this comic sort of, like she's looking at herself making fun of herself, whereas Kyla was just like, I was out here in these streets.
Yeah.
Okay? And I don't really get no jokes about it, which was like almost harder. I don't know. For me, like I am just somebody who I need humor sometimes to help. Whereas like I say, I'm wanting to watch the news. I want to hear about current events. I need to know, but like I can get depressed watching the actual news. So having a show like The Daily Show or John Oliver's show where I can hear about current events, but I can also have a little bit of humor to kind of help keep
the
me
medicine
together.
go down.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I really enjoyed that about her approach in telling her stories in such a raw and candid way. And then speaking of embarrassing, friend, let's see. I was looking up embarrassing moments on Reddit. Just because I was like, is there a stranger than fiction that I can get in here? And I didn't really have one. But I wanted to share an embarrassing moment that I thought was funny on Reddit. It says, what is an embarrassing or funny thing that you have done while on a date with somebody? Because I feel like a lot of her stories had to do with embarrassing stuff with her dating
Romantic
and all
wise,
romantic stuff and
yeah.
stuff. And I know how you like, girl, you love romance and relationship stuff.
Yes, of course.
Of course, because. But this one says, mine, ? I've been seeing this man that I have really been into for about 2 weeks. This sounds like our author. I was showing him the sleep app that I use to record snippets throughout the night if I snore or talk in my sleep, etc. So I saw one labeled sleep talking and got all excited, and I played it for him. And it's a recording of me letting out the loudest farts ever. I died. I simply died.
What's that booty talk?
Make that booty clap. That ain't the kind of booty clap that he was even talking about, though. That's not what he was wanting, though. Can you imagine?
But see,
That's embarrassing.
so for someone who would have to be a romantic match for me, they would have to think that was also hilarious.
Friend, I'm so glad you said that.
They would also
because
have to be like,
that was
amazing, babe. I'm so impressed. Babe.
You Nancy, but I like it.
Yeah.
That's what I promised I was thinking too.
Yeah.
I was like, because at that point, it's either you're grossed out because I'm a human person, right?
Yeah.
Like you kind of, how was that not funny? I don't know how that's not
Farts
funny.
are funny. Actually, that was a big part of appropriate behavior.
Farts?
Do you care about spoilers?
Okay, so that's a big part of appropriate
spoiler of appropriate behavior. It was a comedy beat. So she gets a job where she's teaching like filmmaking, but to kids.
Oh, okay.
But she didn't know they were going to be like 5-year-olds. Like she thought they were going to be older kids, like 10
At least, yeah.
Yeah, but no. So she's struggling, but finally they just end up making a film about farts.
Because it's so funny.
It was pretty. I was laughing out loud.
Oh
it was pretty great.
She's
but yeah,
great.
farts are hilarious.
Farts can be
They're
funny.
ridiculous.
I'm
Everybody
not
farts.
mad.
Everybody poops. So, I don't tend to get along with men who don't like the idea of women farting. Did we talk
Don't
about
like
this
the
with
idea?
the Drunken Knights one time about farting? I feel like one time we were talking about this, about how maybe you don't fart at the beginning of the relationship, but later on when you get comfortable.
Yeah, which I think is normal, because it's like, I'm not going to just,
Yeah, I think I made
as
the
soon as
comment.
we meet, just be farting. Like, that's a little bit much.
Yeah, like if you're still paying for meals, I won't fart around you.
But once we've gone
we're
Dutch.
yeah, like you're gonna have to catch these
You're
farts.
entitled to this,
Yeah,
to this
I'm
colon
not,
win.
I'm
that
not hiding my farts.
Wow. It's just
Or
weird.
I'm not going to be embarrassed about it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to be rude, but like I'll behave with decorum in public, but
I'm at home.
But at home, and they're funny. Sometimes I crack myself up when I'm by myself.
Oh my God. Childish. We are just childish for the record. That's basically what this comes down to, friend.
I wish I was better.
I don't.
Okay.
You're just fine. You're just fine, friend.
Okay.
But yeah, so, in the pursuit of just, being the perfect woman and trying to ascribe to all of these standards, I feel like the overarching theme in all of these books that we read is that it's unattainable. And the reason why I dedicated this episode to self-love was because, it's funny because I had it before I finished this book and really thought about this, a conversation I was having with my husband about relationships and stuff like that and what people expect from relationships, and also just the energy that you're giving out is extremely important in the relation to what you get back, right? And so, like, you hear certain people saying to you, like, oh, I wish I could be in a relationship, or it's because it's so aspirational. Mm-hmm. And we both realize we've been booed up for a million years. So I do feel like it is a little unfair, or I just feel like I'm not really qualified in that way to say that, because it's like, I haven't been single in so long that it's like, bitch, here you are telling me, you know what I mean? So with that in mind, though, I do say that, like, if I'm just objectively observing people who I feel like are saying they want to be in relationships, sometimes it's like, what energy are you giving off, though? Because the energy, like, I think when we're giving off desperate, which is what I felt like sometimes from our author, because of self-loathing or feeling like you're not measuring up, or trying to fill a space, trying to fill a void, you're going to attract a certain type of person, and it's not going to be the person you're going to build a life with. And if you're really being honest and you're taking it past that initial attraction that you're mistaking for love and being in love because someone's paying you attention, somebody's saying you look nice, or their sexual chemistry or whatever, when you're actually looking at the person, though, like when you're removing that, if you can, which I know is hard, it's pretty apparent, like, this is not a match for you, though. And so just keeping that in mind. So I don't know. Like, for me, it was just like a reminder to love yourself and to kind of get into things. But before we close out, I did want to mention too, one of the parts in the book that I really wanted to touch on was her, toward the end, she was talking about like getting older and hearing her biological clock ticking and wanting to be
getting them eggs.
Getting them eggs going and stuff like that. And so her being a queer person and being in a same-sex relationship, she was sort of feeling resentful of just naturally not being able to be impregnated by the person who you're in love with, per se, and having to go another route that she felt like was, air quotes, unnatural. And kind of coming to terms with, like, her mom giving her the story of like, it took science to help you be here. That could be considered unnatural, and her kind of like changing her view on that. But also she
Can
had
you send that to Snoop Dogg so he can understand how lesbians have babies, so he won't be scared to explain it to his grandchildren?
That baby was grandchildren.
Grandchildren.
You could be like, who are these people?
Well, we
I'm
were
like, bitch,
technically ahead of the story,
Thank you,
so
we were.
that's why we didn't have all the deets.
Yeah, I didn't know. It was just something that popped up. But yes, exactly. It's just
so he
like,
doesn't have to be scared.
But also, that's the thing. Like, if you're waiting to have all the answers in order to be around children, either don't have them and don't be around them. You're not going to have all the answers, but just don't be around them. Then.
But my whole thing is, you
ask.
had the answers. What was so scary about it? Because you know how, like,
you just didn't want to say it because you don't like the answer, basically, is what that comes down to. But here, let me find the questions that she asked about being a mom real quick. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, so motherhood ponderings from our author. This is what I put. So she put, is it painfully boring?
Sometimes.
Painfully boring? I think so, too. Sometimes.
Not most of the time. Usually it's not boring enough. Like, there's always something going on. Like, and I usually kind of crave those quiet moments a lot of times when you're in the heat of, like, very young children.
Yeah,
but sometimes it's boring. Like, you don't always want to watch the movies they want to watch, and you don't always want to read the books they want to read, but you just do it anyway. But I don't feel like I felt boring was like what I felt most of the time. Mostly I felt tired.
That's so true. You're so tired that boredom is just like a
welcome
that would be a
friend.
luxury. Yeah, bored. It's like, I wish, actually. It says, do you miss your autonomy on an hourly basis?
I don't know that I ever had autonomy.
Ooh.
Like, I feel like that's something I've gotten to later in life, and actually having kids helped me navigate that because it's something I wanted for them.
Amen. I like that too. I agree. I think I agree with your answer for boredom. In terms of autonomy, I mean, I can say that, like, yeah, it's more difficult to, like, if I want to go to Cancun 2 or 3 times a year, I can't do that anymore. So I do, it's like, damn, that sucks. But also, I had kids a little bit later, so I mean, I'd already done all that, so I don't necessarily feel like I'm missing it per se. And then it says, do you ever regret it? Be honest.
No.
Me either.
Not a day. Yeah. I'm scared to think of what my life would have looked like had I not had
Really?
kids.
Now,
Yeah.
that I don't feel like. I feel like my life
like-
would have been perfectly fine.
I think I really needed that touchstone to get myself together because I wanted them to have a good parent. And that made me have to, get myself together. Yeah. And it would have been, and I don't suggest that. You really should get your shit together before you have kids.
That's what I was going to say. I do feel like, the message is like, well, once you have kids, you get your shit together. Some people have kids and don't ever get their shit together. And some people never have kids and still are able to. Yeah. So you're just saying that you feel like your kids help
just
you to do
knowing myself,
that.
I probably wouldn't have.
Yeah. So. I feel like I would have gotten there because I liked my life before I had kids. And, a lot like our author, I felt like, what if I'm like making their lives worse? Like, what if what if I don't live up to like what a mom is supposed to be? Because I don't know.
Oh, I assume I'm failing on certain levels.
Yeah, I think that's just part of it, though.
Yeah, that's just part of it. I'm not gonna. I'm not fretting too hard. I'm doing my best, and I think they can both see that. Yeah. They seem to appreciate it. They're like, "Oh, look at you go.
Look at you go. Aren't you cute?" Pat you on the head. Everybody's taller than you now. Let's see. It says. Well, and this feels specific to her, though. But it said, did it fill a bottomless hole that you kept trying to fill with, whether it's attention, food, drug, whatever? Like, do you feel like it completed you in any way?
I guess it's so crazy, but I don't know that I'll ever feel complete. Completion, that feels like the end. Like, I'll be complete when I'm dead. Like, that'll be the completion. I'm as person as I'm gonna be, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I just
it's huge. I think it was great that she put that much thought into it because it is a huge undertaking.
No, for sure.
So it shouldn't be gone into lightly or in any way. But I think that's a very Western idea of like you do this thing that completes you.
I think so too. I think that with relationships and procreation, I don't think that is something. I don't feel like that is even a part of that journey. I think that, again, it really goes back to falling in love with yourself. It's the most beautiful art you can make. And then I think as you attach yourself to other humans, whether you're creating them in your womb, if you get the opportunity to do it like that, or if it's other kids that you have in your life that you get to mother, being a whole person helps you to execute that in a way that's more fulfilling than it would be if you're not like in love with yourself. And then I think sometimes if you're not, when you have a person who's looking up to you, it forces you to come to terms with yourself in a way that you don't have to do when you aren't considering somebody else's life is affected by your lack of development. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then you're mothering yourself or parenting yourself through them. So I think that is the advantage sometimes. If you are in that space, because again, like there are people who are parents who don't give a damn about none of that.
Let's talk about that real quick. Going to the Netflix thing, the high school catfish documentary.
Oh God. And you know what? I just saw the little trailer of it, so I don't, know the whole backstory, but
so I didn't watch it. I just watched a review on YouTube about it. Actually, that woman, I said from the Hunting Wives video, watch with me.
Okay, I put that in the notes from last week's episodes, guys.
Oh my goodness, she's so funny to me. Okay. And so she's talking about it. And do you care about spoilers? Were you planning on watching
not
it?
at all.
Okay, well, spoilers
No,
for Unknown Number, the high school catfish. So basically, there's this young girl in this small town who's getting all these crazy bullying text messages, blah, blah, blah. You should kill yourself. You anorexic
Why?
whore. Your boyfriend likes me. She breaks up with the boyfriend. The messages are still going to the boyfriend, like harassing him, blah, blah, blah.
doing it?
It was her mama. It turns out it was the girl's mama who was sending all these crazy voice messages.
Why?
She crazy. Just knucking futs. Like, she was probably just jealous of her daughter. She was obsessed with the little boy.
Whoa.
She already out of jail. Like, she gets locked up for harassing a minor, but she only does like maybe a year or something like that.
Wait, the mom was obsessed with her daughter's boyfriend?
Mm-hmm. It sounds like she probably has some substance abuse issues. They didn't address it in the documentary, but the people whose reviews I've been watching, they said when they're watching the documentary, when the police come in, there's like 30 bottles of liquor on the cabinet or on the kitchen table and stuff like that. And yeah, it sounds like she was like addicted to attention. She's just sort of this narcissistic, abusive, whatever. So
How awful.
and she didn't have no job. This is why she had time for all this. So she was, so she's married, mind you. She got a whole husband. They're having all these like problems. Like, apparently she got fired from her job for not doing her job because she was too busy on the phone.
I hate this show. For the record. I hate the premise. I hate the lady who's based on. I feel sorry for the children involved. Because why? And so like, okay, so we're not reviewing this.
When
but
parenting goes wrong.
Again, right. So like, this isn't solving anything. If you're already nuts and then you're bringing somebody into this shit, it's not going to help anything.
I
And
really
so,
felt sorry for the little girl.
Self-love, man. Yeah, because you can. And so what I would say to Desiree is like, if your ultimate goal is to have a family, for one, it's good. Allow yourself to let your family be whatever it is. It doesn't have to fit into any mold that society is saying that it has to be. And then enjoy it. Like, whatever it is, enjoy it. And then, yeah, soak it up. I mean, I feel like that all the time where I'm just like, God, like I was telling my daughter the other day, like, I already missed this version of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the only time you're going to be this age. This is the only time, like, we can't get this moment back. So I'm always just like trying to be in the moment because your kids are such a gift. And if you're really tuned in, you don't have to be perfect for your kids. You just have to be there and be present with them. That's all that they really want. And so you don't have to be perfect to do that. They'll think you're funny. Your kids just laugh at you anyway and be like,
This broad.
yeah, you know what I mean? Because you're relatable. So like if you're just being real, like what you're trying to do for yourself, if you're doing that for your kids, I feel like, you know, it ends up being relatable. And even if it's not relatable when they're small, they can, you know, they'll be able to see it and get into it. So I would say I wish you the best. Like if you do decide to start a family at some point, don't be scared to do it. Hell, if you can make films and do everything else, you fucking done a TED Talk.
Yeah, she's good at
Girl,
writing.
you be fine. You'll be just fine if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
So that's my advice for that. And then I guess we got to rate the book then, friend.
Oh, yeah. To me, I enjoyed it. It was a fantastic journey, and I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5 Accutane subscriptions.
Wow. Okay, I like it. I'm gonna give it 4.5 out of 5. Storm blonde haircuts.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it that. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. Really, really good book.
Yeah, would definitely recommend.
Definitely recommend. It's an easy listen to. It's a quick read if you have time to actually sit down and read.
Especially if you're a filmmaker.
Yeah.
If you're
I
into
thought so
that.
too. She gave some really good advice in terms of like being a creator. I thought that too for my son. I'm like, oh, when he's old enough, this could be some solid advice, you know, if he's still into wanting to make movies and stuff like that. So, very, very awesome. So then I guess that leaves nothing else for us to do, friend, than to spin this wheel. So spin it.
All right, so next week we're going to be getting a little serious, and we'll be reading Nobody's Girl, a memoir of surviving abuse and fighting for justice by Virginia Roberts Giuffre. And if you don't recognize that name, it's okay, but she is one of the Epstein accusers
Oh my God.
who sadly took her life earlier this year.
Oh my
But she left her story, and we're going to read it.
Let's go. All right, excellent. Well, look at us.
Look at us go.
Look at us go.
Mm-hmm.
All right, friends.
We're official.
Yeah, we are. We have a bookshelf.
We
I
have
keep
a
talking about
bookshelf.
this bookshelf.
Look at these books.
So nice.
Look at this.
Books. Okay.
this.
All right. I hope you're enjoying.
Yeah.
I'm definitely enjoying this, guys. Hopefully you guys are spending time doing the things that you love, spending the time with the people you love. Anything you want to add before we get out of here, friend?
Your body belongs to you.
Aw,
So
it does.
don't shame it.
Don't shame it, man. And have babies if you want them. You're never going to be ready, so just have them. There's no right time.
Or don't.
Or don't.
Or don't. You should
it's
really
okay.
want it. If you want it.
Period. If you
Yeah.
really want to do it. If you
all
don't,
you got to do is get up on it.
get up on it. And with that, guys, we're out of here. Peace. Bye.
Before we go, we must give thanks to Urban Nerd for providing our music, and legal services were handled by Trezanae M. Atkins. If you like what you heard, please feel free to join us every Wednesday for another fake-ass book club. Cheers.
Thank you guys for listening. You can check us out at thefabpodcast.com. Please subscribe, rate, and review our podcast wherever you're listening right now. We want to hear from you. Come put it in our life. Thanks again, and until next time, peace, love, and the Fake Ass Book Club. We out.